Having a teenage son can be both incredibly rewarding, but also bring its fair share of challenges. In this video, I want to share some insights from both my career as a clinical psychologist, but also as a father, to help you connect with and positively influence your teenage son, even if they're currently struggling or going through a hard time. Oh man, have I loved being a dad to a boy. My first 3 kids were girls, and I loved being a dad to girls. And I could have had 100 more girls, but there has been something just so cool and unique about having a son. I've tried to develop really strong emotional connections with all of my kids, and in some ways the connections are very similar. But there's been a few unique things about having a boy, at least in my experience. For one, I've tried to model for him that it's okay to express his feelings. A lot of boys I've worked with professionally have been really poor at doing this. A lot of boys feel like and are actually taught that expressing emotions is a weakness. Well, I've always felt the opposite. I feel like it's a strength because expressing feelings requires you to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable is hard and it's risky. And when we do hard things, we actually generally feel really good about ourselves. So I've tried to model this for him his entire life. And he's become such a naturally emotionally expressive kid. It's just a joy to watch him grow up like this. One of the things that's been similar in my connection with him and also in my connection with my daughters is just simply that developing a connection comes down to just putting in the time and showing up in his life on a regular basis. In a sense, I've had to sort of meet him wherever he is, wherever his interests lie, in order to stay connected with him. Let me give you a couple of examples. But before I share these examples with you, I want to thank you for watching this video. Do you ever struggle communicating with your child or disciplining them effectively? You know, none of us were given a manual when our kids were born that tells us all the things we should do and the things we shouldn't do. We just have to learn by trial and error. Well, this channel is all about using my system of correcting and connecting to build a strong, trusting relationship with your child. If that's the kind of thing you want to know more about, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this with any friends you think would benefit from it. Now let's get back to the video. One Christmas, my son was admiring the skateboard that his older sister had given him for Christmas. He had just broken his leg in a skiing accident, so admiring it was about all he could do. This skateboard was quite the gift. It was much more expensive than gifts she typically gave him. Well, now we're later in the day. All the hoopla has died down from opening presents earlier, and there's Brian. He's just kind of looking at his skateboard. He's turning it around in his hands. He's admiring his present. He can't do much else with it. But he's so excited to have this. And he says, "Dad, come check this out." So I come over and he just starts talking to me about all the little nitty-gritty details about this skateboard. The wheels do this and they're special and they do this, and the trucks do this, and the board is made of this material. And to be honest with you, I was not at all interested in the nitty-gritty details, but it was important to him. And so I just kind of decided to suck it up and listen. I wanted to do an experiment at the time because I had been thinking a lot about how important it is to listen. So without him seeing me do this, I pulled out my phone and I started a timer on my phone. I just wanted to see how long he was going to talk. If I gave him my undivided attention and he told me about all these things I didn't care about, how long was this going to last? Well, I decided during this time I was going to put all my focus on him. Anything he wanted to tell me, and he was going to give me all the details, and he was so excited about telling me all this stuff. And I had to fake it. I had to listen, and I looked directly at him. I would even ask questions. I was 100% with him. Well, eventually we were done, and he was clearly satisfied that somebody was interested in listening to him go on and on about the skateboard. So how long do you think this took? For me, it felt like forever. It took 2 minutes, 120 seconds. We had this little meaningful interaction. If I'd never done this, no big deal. But I've talked about this experience a lot because it demonstrates so many things. It demonstrates that listening is such a powerful connector. It demonstrates that showing interest in things that he's interested in will get him to talk with me in ways he never would otherwise. Another example with my son is a few years ago, I began riding dirt bikes. Now I'm in my 50s, and this is when I started riding dirt bikes. And I strictly did this because it was something he had wanted to do so badly for so long. He had literally been talking about this for years. So I sort of finally relented. He was a young teenager, and I knew the time was now if I wanted to find something that would keep us connected. I enjoy it. I enjoy riding dirt bikes, but honestly, I'd still rather be doing other things. I'd rather be playing golf. But this is a joint hobby that we have sort of developed over time, and it's given us a way to stay connected for years now. and we've really had some pretty special trips together. This brings up my last point. I don't know if this is because he's a boy or if it's just his personality. It's probably the latter. But this kid is a doer. He likes to be doing things. He does not want to be just somewhere sitting around. He's active. I've had a lot more success staying and being connected with him when we're doing some kind of physical activity together. So in summary, and in my personal experience, I've been able to stay connected with my son by listening, and I cannot really overstate how important I think that is. Also by meeting him where he is, by engaging him in things he's interested in, and by doing physical activities. As he's gotten older and more oriented towards his peers, which is natural for his age, these connections have allowed me to stay powerfully connected with him and influential with him, which is what I want. I really think that starting this at an early age has made a huge difference for us now. Regardless, you can start this anytime you want, just by showing up and making the effort. Are you looking for a more effective way to connect with your child and build long-term positive influence? Maybe your child is misbehaving or going through a difficult phase and you struggle to know how to discipline or even just how to reach them at all. Well, my name is Dr. Todd Corelli, and I've spent the last 25 years as a clinical psychologist working primarily with children, adolescents, young adults, and families. And I've worked with thousands and thousands of families around the world. And I've seen the challenges that families are facing. That's why I've created a 4-part video series that is completely free to watch and is available online for immediate viewing. This helps parents become much more effective at bonding and positively influencing their children. This system is completely unique and highly effective. I've seen this system benefit my own family and so many others, and I want your family to have this too. So just go to the link in the video description below, or you can go to correctandconnect.com, enter your information, click the button, and I will send you immediate access.